Welcome back, energetically sensitives, empaths, spiritually awakening people from all around the world. My name is Bryndis. I'm a professional energy healer, and I'm going to explain some of these spiritual occurrences or how to contextualize them better. And this is our 7th episode here. We've just gotten past the holiday time, and perhaps if you were in Europe, you're still in the middle of meeting your parents or your in-laws or your extended family. But we can all feel that energies have, loosened up a little bit. We're doing this live here, and part of the reason is to respond to you guys. So yes, I'm seeing you waving already. I thank you so much for being there for me. So part is me being there for you. So I want you to ask questions and to comment and I want you to send me hearts and likes, because that's my sort of fuel here. And I see where you're from. You're from Canada, you're from Belgium, you're from the United States, Chicago. Yes, I see you guys. Wonderful. So we have a little bit of a delay. So whenever I ask you guys a question, it's going to take a while before I can see your responses. So I'll keep talking, but I want you to comment. All right. So today I want to talk about what makes me spiritual. This is a big topic, guys. And yes, I'm seeing your hearts. Wonderful. But let's first reflect on the energies of today. So things are loosening up a little bit. However, who of you is feeling issues with your stomach? Nausea, heart palpitations? Who of you is feeling a little stressed out internally right now? Even though things in Denmark, I see you. Who of you is feeling the same way as most empaths are reporting right now? Like a little bit of issues with the heart and weird sensations in the stomach. Yes, the stomach, guys. Hey, England. It's so wonderful to have you guys here. So I want you to know that this is not just you. You're not getting sick. You're not, this is part of this expansion waves. And a runny nose. Yes, we talked about that yesterday. Runny nose, this whole sinus deal in the winter time obviously has to do with some of the weather conditions and the dryness in our homes. If you live in the northern hemisphere, you have to crank up the heating and all this. And it makes things accumulate in your sinuses. So a big part of, just in general with energy healing, when you feel sinus issues coming on, is to allow it, because it's emotionally, when it comes with the strong emotions that we're having right now, it also means that you've had it. Okay, that's enough. And you need to let this out. You need to let this out. So anything that can help you to open up your entire respiratory system will help you with this, like literally make yourself cry. And crying is something I really from here on want you to see as an energetic or spiritual release of things. It's okay to cry, guys. It really allows some of these excessive or stuck energies, stored energies in your system to leave through your natural openings of your energy body. Okay, so don't suppress crying. If this comes with a sinus issue, then I use Japanese mint oil. It's extremely strong, and if I put just one drop here underneath my nose, underneath my eyes, everything just comes out. So you don't have to cry because you're sad, but just allow that natural release to happen. Yes. The tummy, the nausea comes from this expansion wave that we are all exposed to. This is us really needing to go into this connected place with ourselves and others. And so when we are surrounded by a lot of people and we don't know yet, and it sounds silly when I say it that way, but we don't know yet how to truly connect with others, then it can feel like an attack. It can feel like we're being sort of, I don't know a better word. We're being compromised in our feeling with ourselves. We talked about this yesterday. This has to do with our connection with our true self, with our false self. So when we don't know how to truly connect, the part in us that feels attacked, guys, is our false self. It is not our true self. Okay, but let's back up a little bit. I put the barometer for today, or the gauge, the energetic stress gauge, today on actually chilling. This is a good day to chill. This is a good day to connect with your inner self healer. This is a big subject for all 2019. To really connect within and with your own self-healing abilities. But first, let's talk about how you guys contextualize this. So I'd love to know from you guys while I'm talking how your Christmas went, or your whatever other holiday tradition you have, being with your family, and how this went for you. What were some of the challenges that you encountered? And then I would like to build this bridge into what makes me spiritual, because a lot of us have this issue that when we are with our family and we say something, or we point out how we see something, that they kind of laugh at us, or that they kind of give us this like, oh yeah, like the eye roll, on us being like woo woo or something, and I want to talk about this today here, what this means for us, those of us who are on this conscious path. And I want to call this path awakening path, okay? Because that's not necessarily, what most people understand as spiritual to begin with. So as I am talking, please comment, and please share with us how things went and what worked for you. I really want you guys to be there for another. I want you guys to share with others what works for you. Okay. Hi, Washington. I see you too. So what is it really that makes us a person that is on the spiritual or on the awakening path? Is it some of the lingo that we use? Is it some of the lifestyle choices that we make? Is it our views? Those things can get very confusing for us empaths, because the way we come into this world and how we are conditioned to contextualize spirituality, guys, comes from a very old tradition, and that is religion. So most of us, even if we've never really felt drawn to going to church, or even if we did as a child, but don't choose this as a lifestyle for us as a grown-up, there is a lot of conditioning in us that has happened throughout generations and generations, okay, that make us have these spiritual beliefs deep down, okay? You may not fully be aware of it, but many of us have we contextualize our journey here as something that either has to conform with religion or has to rebel against religion. And I want to help you guys to balance this out a bit, because it doesn't have to be this way. For us as spiritually awakening people, or as people on a path that is maybe new for the generations that were here before us, we don't have to go against existing values. We don't have to try to convince our parents or our friends or whatever that church is bad, or that that the world is a bad place, that the dark forces are controlling us or harvesting our energy. Even if there are some aspects of these conspiracy theories that are valid, okay, so they can be seen in neotheric, this can be confirmed, but it doesn't mean that we have to make this a task, to convince others. And so oftentimes the bad rep, you know, that we get as spiritual people is because we're trying to go against what other people feel or how they see things. And that gets us into this place of infringement, you know, that gets us into this place of proving, trying to prove to others that the way we see it is the better way, or is the truer way. Or some of us have even contextualized this in a sense that we want to bring truth to others, okay? And this is like something that in conjunction with activating the inner self healer, that a lot of us empaths you know, naturally do. We think that our job is to mandatorily heal others, or mandatorily, you know, force others to see truth. And that is a bit of an issue here, guys. This is why we, you know, why others really feel that we are attacking them. And while your intentions are pure, you know, the fact that you are coming from an old system where everything, you know, is righteous, or needs to be right, or needs to be better, or needs to be the higher road, you know, that's the only way how you can contextualize this. And you're basically doing the same thing, you know, as our parents and their parents and all those before them, you know, just using a different lingo. And this is a big one here, guys, and I don't want you to feel bad now as I'm pointing this out to you, that you know, that maybe the ways you're trying to self-actualize, as we call this, the ways you want to really present your authentic self, your true self to the world, is not exactly true yet. You know, so bringing truth or bringing healing to others is the wrong focus, guys. You know, you don't have to go against the old system to invite or to represent the new system. You don't have to, you know, tell or make others wrong in order to, you know, sort of really manifest, you know, what you came here for. So let's talk about these props and these things that we think that make us spiritual, and then validate this here from a deeper perspective, you know, of energy reading and energy healing, because we can see this in your field, guys, how authentic this truly is. And we know that your guys' intentions and your devotion, you know, is true and is pure. But we also know that many of you come, including myself, including all of us, come from a place where we kind of have to fight our way through to get this appreciation or this validation. I mean, not even, you know, expecting appreciation, but at least to get validated, you know, to have other people's like, okay, I see you are, you know, someone who feels attracted to healing or to being, you know, sort of a spiritual person. How we can represent this without going into resistance with others. So let's jump back to you guys' comments. Thank you for chatting here. This is wonderful. So some of you are doing, you know, things that we talked about yesterday. You take a time out, you do what is good for you. Pam, you went to the beach yesterday, and that brought in this peace for you. And this is very smart. If we already know what is good for us, what works for us to recenter and to balance our energy, you know, then the smartest thing sometimes is just to go out and do that, instead of trying to hang in and suck it up and trying to, you know, deal with things that will never really work for us, that we already know don't work for us. Like, you know, hanging out at a family gathering for like, I don't know, 6 hours, okay? As an empath, that is an exposure that I can tell you, no matter how good you are, will draw you into your coping, will draw you into, you know, sort of your false self again. And so the best thing to do here is, when it comes to these, you know, to pinpointing these moments when it's time to leave, or at least to take a time out. You know, yesterday I said, you know, I always used the excuse that I had to go walk the dog. You know, that worked for me, you know, because then I could, you know, release some of that, you know, recenter and come back and stay there for a little longer. So if you don't have a choice, then you need to work with timeouts. If you are in control of you know, what you can do. And you can go to the beach like Pam here, or you can, you know, sort of take a day where you just take care of yourself, you know, and self-care and self-love. Then that's a smart thing to do. Thank you for sharing this, Pam. Yes, and Heather, I hear you. Oh, being overstimulated, even if you know, this is something that we are all looking forward to. You know, sometimes the pressure, the social pressure, and also the pressure from our kids, you know, those of you who have kids, you know, dang, this is so, they're so excited, and you know, it puts a lot of, you know, bombards us as energetically sensitives. So there's always like a bad taste, you know, after Christmas, because we just wanted to get it over with at some point. So don't judge yourself for it, you know, just understand that, you know, that we are not in this alone. So we have to find ways. And if, you know, being with your family, like Annette, you sharing, you know, is something that, yeah, requires us to pull out all those tools and all this training that we had, or that we have here as energy workers, you know, to stay centered and to stay in a good place with this, to not go into protection or defense, or you know, feeling like we have to cave in or isolate. Good, well done, Annette. So you did this during the family gathering, and you could, it went nice and easy. Yes. Yes, Syria, this is how I do this. You go into cooking, you go into really enjoying what you do, you know, and reading and walking with the family. That's a cool thing to do. I did this too. You know, you just go with the flow without trying to go against it, but you do it while you're doing things that are good for you, that help you to center. Yes, so it doesn't always have to be us leaving them, you know. We can also do it with them, or make suggestions, you know, like, hey, I have a good idea, let's do this, you know, let's play a board game, or, you know, go on a walk. We went on a long walk together yesterday, and it was awesome. Yeah, Carrie, unfortunately, desensitizing with alcohol and coping is the problem. You know, this is almost like a societal or a collective coping mechanism. Alcohol, unfortunately, plays a big role in a lot of families. And I hear you. My heart goes out to you, Carrie. You know, that we do feel like it can help us to desensitize, to numb this a little bit. But energetically spoken, the backlash is too big. Okay, so my suggestion for you would be, if you don't have a choice, if you have to be with your family, and you know, and they're all drinking and they're all, you know, find a maximum amount of time that you can be with them without it turning sour. Do you know what I mean? When there's alcohol involved, guys, there's always a point where it turns sour. At first, people loosen up a bit, you know, let go, you know, and it's funny, or it's more enjoyable. But then it turns sour, and it gets angry, and it gets, you know, like really toxic. Okay, and so, you know, there's a problem with alcohol because it's part of this Western Christian society. It's a part of our Christian traditions. Okay. And therefore, you know, dealing with alcohol in a healthy way, or trying to manage that if we are in a family where there's a lot of drinking, is almost impossible. You have to find different ways, okay? Otherwise, you take on too much. You desensitize in the moment so you don't feel it, but you still have to deal with it, okay? Those of us who have an issue with alcohol, guys, this is a big, big subject. Okay, and I don't want you to underestimate this. Please contact me, okay, if you've had a hard time here this last couple of days and you got into drinking too much. Send me an email, okay? This is what I do, okay? Driving into the city brought a lot of physical symptoms. Yes, Cindy. So when we have already managed to create a home or a safe place, right? You know, then we are kind of spoiled in that way. And when we then expose ourselves to the collective craziness by you know, just having to go to work or having to go to these family gatherings, right? Just driving through town can already be so bombarding that we get all these physical symptoms again. And I want you to understand, guys, that this is not going to be any better in the future. You are empaths. You are energetically sensitive beings. You have to learn how to grow into your light body. You have to know how to learn this, you know, to manage your energies better. This is the new world here. This is this new paradigm that we all have been waiting for. It forces us to deal with our energies, with our emotions, and with our thoughts. So there is no other way than learning how to do this. Yes, Cindy, cool. What worked for you was knowing your limitations and picking it up earlier. Yes, pick it up or catch it before it can latch on. You know, like know what to do. Have a strategy to divert energies, to clear energies, to reconnect with yourself through all these things that we've talked about here in these past episodes. Yes, you did a grounding meditation and saging chakras before you went to see your family, Sandy. I don't blame you. I do the same thing, and I do it afterwards too. And sometimes, you know, I excuse myself to go to the bathroom and disappear for 5 minutes just to, you know, clear my energy before getting angry or before, you know, getting resentful. Okay, so it isn't our job to change others, guys. This is not what we came here for. We came here for to be the best we can be, to grow into our highest potential. And our highest potential then will create a field around us, a resonance, you know, a luminescence that will activate other people's energies to vibrate higher. So we don't really have to do anything other than just being more real, more authentic, and more our true self, which then, you know, helps other people to go there too, whether they're aware of it or not. This has nothing to do with the mental views or the understanding. We all are light beings. We all have energies. We all are, we all are surrounded by energies. And whether somebody can speak the lingo, you know, the energetic or the spiritual lingo, does not mean that they are better energy workers or better energy healers or better, more spiritual people. Okay, so the lingo, guys, the words that you use are not what make you spiritual. This does not make you spiritual. What makes you spiritual is your inner spiritual connection with yourself. Okay, and that then creates a field around you, a radiance around you that allows other people, consciously or subconsciously, it doesn't matter, because energies don't require a conscious understanding of it, right, to vibrate higher along with you. So that's why I love some of the tips that you guys gave here for everybody, because, you know, shifting like a family situation, for instance, through making a suggestion, through, you know, let's do this, or I'm going to do this, who wants to join me? You know, those can be those active steps into shifting the energy for a whole entire group that we are in. Yes, and I know, Carrie, your guys' summer, you know, in Australia for the Christmas celebrations is probably different than the one here in the Northern Hemisphere. But the alcohol problem exists everywhere in the world, okay? Everywhere in the first world, okay? So you're not alone with this. Don't think that you are alone with this. This is why I'm here, you know, during these days, because the days between Christmas and New Year's, or around the holidays and the end of the year, are the days where most people go into their coping, into their addictive patterns. And this is where most of the relapses happen too, for people who have had these good intentions, who, you know, wanted to quit whatever it is. You know, it's not just the alcohol, but the alcohol is typically the part of Christmas, of the Christian celebration of our spirituality. And unfortunately, that is the wrong exit. Yes, it pulls people back into their pain. All right, so that's why me and some of the fellow energy workers that accompany you through this, that's why we do this. That's why we go out to you. We may not necessarily talk about it directly, but this is what it's all about. It's supporting you in your inner connection. Yes. So let's then dive deeper into what makes us truly spiritual, right? So you see me, I'm wearing, things, right? And, to a degree that makes other people identify that there's something different with me. Now, I have, makeup on and dress like other sort of suburban moms, right? So that's the part in me that's a little more conformist, right? Then there's some parts about me that you probably don't know because you've never been to a training with me in person or whatever, that is very, very normal, very, very quiet, very, very humble, when I'm with other people, where I just listen and, where I really don't say anything. So I understand energies in that way, that it's all about radiance. So when I'm with a person, where I feel that they need something, I will not tell them what they need. This would be infringement. I go really calm, I go really silent and just connect internally. But I am an energy worker, I'm a professional. I know how to do this without absorbing their stuff, okay? So that's why I'm not necessarily recommending this to those of you unless you have training. It is okay to wear props, to go into a certain way of presenting yourself that can indicate this to others. But the main reason why I wear these things, guys, is not to show others. I actually live a relatively isolated life, except for, the fact that I'm a mom and that my older kids are they have their own places, but my youngest son is only 4, and so I still have to deal with all these, the school and all that. After curricular activities, this is for my protection. So you can wear certain props that are naturally understood as protection for yourself, but never wear any of these things to show off, because what this does, though, is it reinforces the false self aspect of you. So go and only wear things that make you feel you can better connect with yourself. And whether you are wearing them as protection, or to help yourself to connect more, or to remind yourself of things, that's up to you. But only wear things that are really that have a meaning to you and that you can connect with. The reason why I'm pointing this out is because a lot of these props, be it, certain clothing or a certain way to wear your hair or tattoos or whatever, they really aren't true to a person, and that reinforces schisms within a person. So this may, feel a little counterintuitive here, or not what you want to hear, but it's really about, stay with yourself. Now, when it comes to tattoos, I want to go through the list here, and at this point I need your help. Let me know what you think, or what you observe others, what they think makes them spiritual. I want to get started with yoga and some of these classical things, but please ask about other things that you've observed that others do, and ask if this is actually really true. So I want to start with tattoos, and then go into yoga, and then what else do I have? Aspects of beauty, aspects of healthy or diet. Okay, so let's start with tattoos. From an energetic point of view, guys, I know they can be very aesthetic. I know they can show off something to the world that you truly believe in, but from an energetic point of view, it's a branding that you do, and it comes with something like a vow, something like a soul contract. And I do not recommend tattoos. From an energy work standpoint, tattoos are not good for you, because they bind you, they create energetic ties. So sorry, guys, I think they're cool, I like them, but it's not something that's conducive for you. Okay, if you already have tattoos, don't try to make them go away. That's not it. But this craze about tattoos, and you know, even if it's spiritual symbols like chakra symbols or things like that, but it's not good for you. Okay, please take this as advice from an energy healer. You know, this is not my personal opinion. You know, this is what I see in people. Next, yoga. Okay, yoga, you know, most of you that have looked into yoga know that it's actually the art of breathing. Okay, so what you learn there is to expand your physical body in conjunction with stretching, in conjunction with exercises and breathing that help your body to increase its light capacity. So in its original essence, yoga is a very good exercise. In the way it's being practiced, guys, sorry, it's unhealthy for a lot of people. There are some places that are very toxic for empaths, and unfortunately a lot of yoga studios are up on the top of the list. And why is that? Because people go there to show off their spirituality. People go off to show off their bodies. People go there to show off, you know, to compete, to compare, to I hope you get me right, because I'm saying this with a lot of compassion, but the way yoga is being practiced in some circles is counterintuitive, counterproductive for you. Okay, so find a good yoga studio, find a yoga teacher, okay, who does not project anything, who does not project sexual energies, who does not project spirituality. You don't have to, you know, do you know what I mean with projection, guys? You know, that's like where you almost feel like you have to compete with your teacher, you know, or compete with the other people there. If that's something you feel in a yoga class, that's not the right place for you, okay? It's not the right place. Yes, yeah, the fear of missing out, the fear of feeling out, the fear of being felt out, okay? This is not conducive for you. That kind of exposure is not good for you. But there are a lot of good yoga teachers who understand this, who do this in a really conducive way. So all I'm saying is, yoga is good in its intention. It's very good, but the way it's being practiced in a lot of places is not good. So find places, you know, seek around a bit, go to different yoga classes. Maybe sometimes the studio isn't the problem, but the different teachers that come in, or the different practitioners, okay, that feels more conducive with you, okay? Yes, and this can prevent a person, Sandy, like same here, this can prevent a person from actually doing yoga with others, okay? So yeah, many of us have like bought yoga DVDs or whatever, or nowadays it's YouTube, you know, to do yoga. It's okay if you to do this on your own, but there's a power though in sharing this, and if you can find a good practitioner, that's a really a good way of sharing and going into this mutual exchange. You know, it's like with all exercise, the same with gym. You know, it helps us to build a discipline. It's a way of living, and when we, you know, don't feel like we're you know, then having an appointment there for a yoga class helps us to stay in that discipline. So generally, there's nothing wrong with this. The same with going to the gym, okay? Physical exercise. And we're going to talk about this in specific, what kind of exercises are good for you for specific needs and for specific things here starting January 1st. So from the 1st till the 7th, we will do a soul chakra variation of soul spiritual, and we're going to talk about your energy centers, how they're tied in with your physical, and what kind of exercises are good for what kind of energy centers to strengthen them, to clear them, and so forth. So we're going to have a series here of videos that will help you to go back to and say, okay, these kind of exercises are good when I feel these kind of symptoms. But going to the gym is generally good, but most gyms have a lot of residue of sexual energies, of projection, of competition, of you know, like sort of producing this false self, and so they end up not being conducive. All right, so you're gonna have to search a little bit. You're gonna have to find the right places. Be conscientious about this. You not feeling like you want to go to these places, is probably a good inner prompting, but that doesn't mean other places don't exist. Okay. Yes, and doing your own stretching at home, your own routine is something that I fully support. And actually, we're gonna, this is the second announcement here for the So Spiritual series. Actually, we're gonna do the So Spiritual Challenge here starting on the 3rd of January, where we have volunteers. So thank you to all of you guys who have been volunteering to learn how to do this total makeover by just doing 10 minutes exercise, physical exercise, 10 minutes inner contemplation, and 10 minutes, sharing and learning throughout the day. So 30 minutes a day over the course of 10 days can literally shift your life entirely. Yes, and I don't blame you. I see your comments here, that you're having a problem with people who produce themselves as spiritual, and you have a problem with the authenticity there. And I don't blame you. Okay, because there is so much misinformation, so much misunderstanding, out there that, that it makes this all false. But this doesn't mean that there aren't people there that are really authentic about this. And all I can do here is to encourage you to find these people. They're there. Okay, they're there, but like you, they probably have the tendency to not go to the yoga studio because they can feel this. They feel worse, when they come home than when they went there. However, though, this is not an excuse for not connecting with others. So what I'm encouraging you to do is to go and connect with others. Find those places where there is none of that sort of false projection of spirituality. Okay, find those places. They exist. You'd be surprised to know how many people are sitting in their homes just like you, who want to go out and want to do these things, who want to connect with others, but can't seem to find these places. Yes, and thank you, Margajata. That is also a good point. The specialness that comes with spirituality sometimes. So here are a few markers, like Margajata is pointing out. Whenever you go to a place, whether it be a meditation group or a yoga studio or whatever spiritual shaman thing you do, and the facilitator, makes it like he or she is going to initiate you into the secrets of this knowledge or this practice or whatever, you already know that there is spiritual specialness and projection in the play. Guys, we all are light bodies. We all are energetic beings. We all have the ability to read and direct energies. We all have this. There are no secrets. And in the past, and this has something to do with what I mentioned in the beginning, the only way this was contextualized in the past was through church, spirituality through church, and anything that wouldn't comply with church had to be esoteric. So esoteric means that it's only accessible for a few. It had to be in secret for the most part, because especially, like around the 1000 AD mark, these things were hunted down, witches, women with sacred knowledge about, feminine issues, birth, and so forth. Midwives were burned on the stake for knowing this, for having knowledge about herbs, for having knowledge about energies or healing, were burned on the stake. So you have to understand that the reason why some of this knowledge had to be esoteric in the past. But we are in a new world here. We do not need this anymore. And so this is over with, guys. Esotericism is dead. Not because the info is wrong, because it doesn't have to be esoteric anymore. Big part of this global awakening, this whole awakening journey, is that it is becoming exoteric. It's accessible for us all. And so secrets, guys, try to really refrain from working with those words. And if you have teachers or guides who work with secrets, even if it's just in the etheric, guys, take a step back, okay? Because there's a projection in play that has a different agenda. Yes, yes, and that's a good tip here. You tap into what makes you feel, you know, what makes you feel yourself, and this is something that I promote as well, to always take time to feel out how it makes you feel within. Does this feel true to me? Does this feel conducive for me? Because your body and, you know, your inner connection can be the navigator through this. Yes, Justin, there's a lot of charlatans there, but I also want to be compassionate about this, because a lot of our teachers, okay, and I went the whole, you know, 9 yards here with esotericism and spiritualism and New Age and all that, okay. So some of that is because our teachers used this lingo, and so we don't even know how to say this differently. We have to, this is our job here, guys, as healers and self-healers, to grow into our own lingo, to stop using all these words how they were contextualized by esoterics or churches, by religion. Yes, the alternate agenda that I just mentioned has to do with power, has to do with control. That is correct. But it also has to do with specialness, with proving something, with trying to get validation. So that's why you know, it's important to have a soft eye for this. You know, because we're all still in the infancy of all this, you know, this new paradigm. So we all come from teachings or schools that used all these things, all right? So we have to find our own way, and this is going to take a few generations, really. So for you guys, you younger people, you know, you come in with a lot of knowledge already, okay? And knowledge is not even the knowledge, it's the knowingness. So trust in that. Trust how something makes you feel, and go by that. Don't think you have to speak a lingo. Don't think you have to be a vegetarian or a vegan, okay? Now, this is part here of what makes me spiritual or not, right? I'm going to talk about foods and needing to be a vegan or needing to be a vegetarian. And I'm speaking truth here, guys. So, you know, I have been a vegetarian all my life. And this is something that you will find that people who really grow into their authentic spiritual self, right, will usually not resonate that well with meat, okay? So there's an aspect that I can confirm as a former chemist and you know, analyst of foods, that the energy that meats carry, especially in the Western world, where you know, the whole entire industry around producing you know, meat production is extremely degrading, extremely torturous, and meat carries some of that. So one of the reasons why we as a collective have this phenomenon of explosive anxiety and depression in people has to do with meat consumption, because the energy stored in those meat cells that we are ingesting, okay, is influencing our energy body. But there's also another reason, and this has nothing to do with how the animals are being treated. This has to do with the density, with the energetic density. So let me put this way. It's if you do feel drawn to being a vegetarian or pescatarian, or even veganism, you know, because you can feel from within that it makes you feel better, it is the right way to go. But if you feel deprived, if this is hard for you, if you feel like, you know, you're missing something, then it's important that you listen to your system here and maybe be less rigid about it, okay? Being a vegetarian, being a vegan is not making you more spiritual. However, people who resonate on a higher vibratory rate will naturally gravitate to eating less or no meat. That is sort of the phenomenon. So it's more the other way around, okay? So eating less meat will help you increase your vibratory rate. Okay, it's not going to make you spiritual, but it's going to support you being able to permanently, you know, resonate in these higher frequencies. It makes it easier for you to become your true self. Yes, and this has to do also with other foods, you know. So it's the more natural, the more unprocessed, the more alive the food is that you ingest. Okay, the more conducive this will be for your energy body, and the less physical symptoms you'll have. Okay. However, this doesn't mean that we have to only eat, like, I don't know, you know, I eat only fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and, you know, stuff. But I don't do this because I want to be spiritual. I do this because they make me feel good. So I don't want to give you guys a feeling that you have to. There's no have-tos, you know, when it comes to becoming your true self. I always tell people 80-20, guys, 80-20. Nature does not favor 100%. Nature does not favor perfect or 100% pure, because it becomes too unstable. So 80-20 is actually the better rule. So you have to have 20% junk in your system, you know, for your light body and your physical body to function well in this 3D realm. Okay, it's cross-training for your immune system, etherically as well as physically. Yes, you're not a vegan or a vegetarian, but you find yourself consuming less meat. You know, there's a lot of talk about these different, yes, blood type diets, or those are all correlations. Okay, so what this means is that we all come in with a certain propensity of things that are better for us. I do not want to reduce this to your blood type or to your zodiac or to any of these predispositions, because we all carry the ability to outvibrate our predispositions. So it's a mistake to go too rigid on it. It's okay though if you find things in, say, blood type or zodiac astrology, you know, that help you to navigate a little bit in the beginning. That's okay. So if you are a blood type, you read these diets that are good for certain blood types, and you know your blood type, and you can identify with a diet, and you know, I find that they work for people in the beginning, but I do not recommend people to become too rigid with a specific regimen. You have to find out what works best for you. This has to do with your geographical location. This has to do with the climate zone. This has to do with the fauna and flora in where you live, what you expose yourself to. Okay, the rule of thumb here for energetically sensitives, okay, no, there's a rule of thumb for everybody, but energetically sensitives are more in touch with this, and so they can navigate more easily, is that you have to pick the things that are naturally around you. So if you live in a place where you know, there's certain plants, certain seasonal vegetables and fruits, even the honey and everything. So I do recommend people to go with local, because your genetics are attuned to your direct environment. Okay, and the more local you eat, the more you get. We have to spend a whole entire episode on plants, because this is getting too long here today. But you know, the plants and animals that produce foods for you in your local area, they are attuned to what you need. Okay, they produce a specific set of nutrients, you know, that align you to being in more harmony with your direct environment. Okay, so I don't care, you know, if Himalayan salt is good for you or not. If you don't live in the Himalayas, it's not conducive for you. Okay, it's not going to harm you, you know, but you know, go with what is local. The more local, the better. Yes, local farmers markets, local honey, local produce, because the produce that comes locally is most conducive for your energy. Because also eating seasonal. Yes, breath work, Kyle, helps greatly with energy management. There is absolutely no question about this. Even science has confirmed this, and that's why I encourage you guys in every episode here to go into breathing. You know, I have a specific energy technique that I call I am breathing. It's laid out on my website, transCODES.com. It's called I am breathing. I've done videos on it, so check my YouTube channel. because it combines energy work and breathing work. So there's more to just breathing. But you know, if we're not familiar yet, and if we can't feel this yet, then it's best to just focus on the breath and really allowing this diaphragm, you know, to expand. So in order to expand your light body, you have to help your physical to expand as well. And if you don't, then you're going to put this on as weight. We talked about this before, guys. This is forced expansion here now, from here on. 2018 marked that tipping point. So the next years, you're going to be forced into expansion. If you don't expand emotionally, spiritually, energetically, you're going to put on weight. You're going to physically expand. All right, guys, we're going to have to come to an end because people don't watch these videos when they're too long. Okay, it's such a wonderful discussion here, and I want you to come back tomorrow. Okay, same time. Tomorrow's Thursday, so traditionally I do the energy updates on Thursday and give you tips what to expect and how to deal with this, what's coming in collectively. So tomorrow is going to be a mixture of energy update for the next week and so spiritual. All right, I want to talk about these things that are coming in, and please continue commenting here on the video, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on Facebook here. Please share those videos, guys. Please share them. I cannot break through that barrier here to reaching other people without you. I need you to share them. This is how social media works. I've been in this energy healing business for so long, and energy healers come to me, okay? But I want to reach you guys directly in your home, because there is so much info here that can help you to navigate through this, okay? So help me, guys, by sharing, by liking, you know, by spreading this info, and you know, also coming to those energy sessions that we have. We do 2 free energy sessions every month for years, guys. How to connect with your true self is for free. Come, you know, invite your friends. You know, this is what spirituality expresses. And not only that, you'll find a huge community here around transCODES, of empaths, of healers, of energetically sensitives, of normal people. Not, you know, we have the whole 9 yards here. And yes, we do energy clearance, and yes, we do shamanic work, and yes, we deal with possessions and the whole 9 yards. Okay, but we're also normal people. And we help people how to practically implement this into their lives as a lifestyle, okay? So this is what's so spiritual is. This is what makes you so spiritual. I love you guys' support. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Check out the transCODES website, okay? Those of you who want to start somewhere, we have a very important session tomorrow. That's the energetic adjustment session for January. So I literally work with you energy. It's a mixture of clearing and attunement. Then we have a live webinar after the energy session, all from the comfort of your home, doing live readings, sharing this with you, you know, how to respond to these energies that are coming in for the next 4 to 6 week period, okay? Then we have a Grace Soul Monad marathon. Okay, energy session marathons are 72 hours straight energy sessions. Okay, this is for those of you who want to learn how to meditate. That's a great way to do this. But these are energy sessions, which means a group of energy workers is on the other side of it and reads your energy during those sessions, and then we discuss all this life. This is all, guys, total interaction here, total interaction. We're not telling you how spiritual you are. No, we're working with your energy and reflecting this back to you. So check this out. You can see this on transcodes.com. There's also a way to support me, you know, to make this possible for me, you know, to continue offering all these things that I do here for everybody. And last but not least, you can become a Patreon on my Patreon channel, where I give premium content, you know, in-depth energy tips and special articles and so forth, you know, before others can access that. Thank you, Margot, for sharing that you've been on the journey with us for so long and what this has done for you. Yes. Yes, thank you, guys. This is wonderful. All right, so I love you, but I gotta go now. Okay, and we see each other tomorrow again at 12 p.m. here for our So Spiritual number 8, and then on Friday for the So Spiritual number 9, I have a little surprise for you. We're going to be talking about plant medicines and a lot of the questions that you guys have about Mariana, about ayahuasca, about some of these typical, what's considered to be very spiritual things to do. And I have a guest here with me, so yes. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.